Well, hi, it's Miss Tonja, and it's time for Read Me a Story. Today we're at Ashton Orchard, and we're going to be talking about apples, apple pie, apple sauce, and all kinds of fun things, apple and fall today. So get ready. Our very first book is 10 Red Apples, and it's by Pat Hutchins. You can help me count. 10 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Let's see if there's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 red apples. Horse came and ate one. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Nay, nay, fiddly-dee-fee. Horse, cried the farmer, save some for me. You see his apple? Now there's 9. You're right. 9 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Who? Cow came and ate one. Munch, munch, munch. Moo, moo, fiddly-dee-fee. Cow, cried the farmer, save some for me. How many now? 8. 8 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippity, fiddly-dee-fee. Who came and ate one? You're right. Donkey came and ate one. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Hee-haw, fiddly-dee-fee. Donkey, cried the farmer, save some for me. How many apples now? 7 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Goat came and ate one. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Ma, ma, fiddly-dee-fee. Goat, cried the farmer, save some for me. And he's eating it too. 6 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Let's see if there's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 6. Who came and ate one? Pig came and ate one. Snort, snort, snort. Oink, oink, fiddly-dee-fee. Pig, cried the farmer, save some for me. 5 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Sheep came and ate one. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Bah, bah, fiddly-dee-fee. Sheep, cried the farmer, save some for me. How many now? 4. 4 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Goose came and ate one. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Hiss, hiss, fiddly-dee-fee. Goose, cried the farmer, save some for me. How many now? 3 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Duck came and ate one. Quack, quack, pick, pick. Duck, cried the farmer, save some for me. How many are left? 1, 2. You're right. 2 red apples hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Hen came and ate one. Peck, peck, peck. Cluck, cluck, fiddly-dee-fee. Hen, said the farmer, save some for me. How many are left? 1 red apple hanging on the tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Good, said the apple. Good, said the farmer. You saved an apple for me. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. How many now? None. 0. No red apples hanging on the tree. My, fiddly-dee-fee. No red apples to bake in a pie. Fee, fee, fiddly-dee-fee. Look, cried the farmer, another apple tree. More red apples hanging on a tree. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. Good, cried the farmer's wife, you saved them for me. Yippee, fiddly-dee-fee. And there's everybody that got to eat the apples. The end. All right, it's time to take a break, and we'll be right back for our next book. See you soon.
Boom.
we're ready for our very next story, Apple Pie ABC, and it's by Allison Murray. And look at the puppy dog and the apple pie. I wonder what's going to happen. Let's see. A is for apple pie. What letter comes next? B, bake it. C, cool it. D, dish it out. What letter's next? E, eager for it. F, find a crumb of it. Way down there on the floor, he found a crumb. What letter's this one? G, get a taste for it. H, have to get a lick of it. Uh-oh. I, in trouble. What one's this? J, jump for it. Kept away from it. K. L, leave without it. Aw, M, miserable. He doesn't get any pie. How about this letter? N, not giving up. P, pine for it. Here's O, oogle it. Q, quietly determined. R, ready. What letter's this? S, steady. T, uh-oh, time to go for it. Underneath it, U. Very nearly, V. Oops, W. Oh boy. X, exit quickly. Y, yum, yum. Did he just eat that whole pie? Z, zzz. Go to sleep and dream of it. What a silly puppy dog. The end. All right, it's time for our break. We'll be back and we'll start our next story. And we're back. It's time for our very next story, How to Grow an Apple Pie. Yum. It's by Beth Charles. The year Sophie was born, her parents planted 6 new apple trees in the orchard, just for her. When you're 6, we can use the apples from the tree to make your own pie. Every year on her birthday, Sophie asked about her trees. No apples yet, her parents told her. You have to wait, said Mom. Won't be long now, said Dad. 1 more year. Finally, the day arrived. Today, I'm 6, Sophie sang on her birthday. The trees are old enough, and so am I. Time to get to working on my apple pie. First, the tree needs pruning, said Dad. Can I help? Sophie pulled on her new work gloves. While Dad pruned the tree and trimmed the branches, she made neat piles. How will pruning make the apples grow? Apples need sunshine, said Mom and Dad. Wait till you see. Sophie waited. While the snow melted, she colored her with her favorite red crayon. She made an apple and a tree. When the ground thawed, she made mud pies. And when the grass turned green, she practiced her cartwheels. Finally, right when the green buds began, they popped out on her new tree. She waited some more as they slowly turned red, then pink, until one warm spring day they burst into sweet-smelling white blossoms. Now will my trees have apples? First, the beekeeper must bring hives so the bees will pollinate, said Mom. Can I help? Sophie was up early the next morning helping to direct the beekeeper until he unloaded the hives of sleepy bees. Sophie waited for the bees to get up and do their job. The day turned cold and windy, and the bees stayed in their hives. Mom said, bees don't like the wind and the cold. Raindrops pitter-pattered against the hives. The bees refused to come out. Bees don't like rain either, said Dad. Sophie sighed, wondering if the bees liked any days. The next morning, Sophie worked up to the perfect bee flying day. Time to help, she said. She flittered and fluttered while the busy bees buzzed from tree to tree, picking up the pollen on their furry coats and carrying it from blossom to blossom through the orchard. On rainy days, Sophie and the bees both stayed inside. But on bee flying days, Sophie zipped and angled and ran through the trees until the last blossom petals fell, leaving only their brown centers behind. Then the beekeeper took the bees away, and Sophie waited some more. She rode her bike while the green bulges swelled behind the blossom centers. She ate popsicles as the tiny apples grew fatter with the summer rains. Now she saw where she and Dad had pruned the branches to let in the sun, and the apples were beginning to turn red. One September day, Sophie took a crunchy, juicy bite of an apple. Now it must be time to bake my pie. Yes, said Dad, as soon as we pick the apples. I'm going to help. Sophie ran to get her new picking bucket, and she climbed the ladder. Don't shake the branches or the apples will fall, said Dad. Squeezing will bruise the apples, and never pull. Turn your apple upside down. Sophie wasn't sure she could remember all of the apple picking rules, but when she turned the bottom of the apple to the sky, it came off without shaking, pulling, or bruising. Sophie brought her fresh picked apples into the kitchen. She looked from the apples to the oven. Ooh, now I know how to grow apples, but I don't know how to bake an apple pie. We can help, said Mom and Dad. Together they peeled and sliced the apples. They measured, mixed, and rolled the pie crust. Sophie filled the crust with apple slices, sprinkled in the sugar and the spices, and sealed it with a top crust. Then into the oven it went. Sophie set the timer, and then she sat down to wait. And wait. Ding! Apple pie is best when you grow it yourself. The end. Oh, I bet you that smells yummy. Let's take a break and we'll be back for our next book. let's get ready for our next book. It's Orchards by Ursula Pang. All kinds of orchards. An orchard is a farm where trees grow. Workers care for the trees and they keep them healthy. They also harvest the foods that grow on the trees. Some orchards grow fruit trees, some grow nut trees, and others grow trees for their seeds. Ooh, working in an orchard. We need orchards for the foods they grow. Workers on orchards have many jobs. Some plant trees and care for them as they grow. Some harvest the ripe fruits or nuts. They also replace old trees that no longer grow fruit. Fruit orchards. Most fruits we eat were grown on trees and bushes raised by orchards. Apple orchards are common in areas that have all 4 seasons, like us. Orange orchards are common in places that are warm all year round. Other fruits grown in orchards include pears, cherries, olives, and lemons. That's nuts! Many kinds of nuts grow on trees. These include walnuts, almonds, pecans, and cashews. Coconuts are the largest nuts. Some grow in the wild, but many are grown in orchards in hot areas. Coconuts grow tall on palm trees. Seed orchards. They don't grow nuts or fruits. Orchard workers plant seeds to grow new trees that are called saplings. They're sold to nurseries or to people who want to plant trees. Seed orchards also raise trees to create better seeds for the future. These are maple tree seeds. Ooh, a syrup orchard. Do you like maple syrup on your pancakes? Real maple syrup comes from maple tree orchards. Workers tap pipes on the maple tree before spring. And when the weather gets warmer, the tree sap starts dripping out of the pipes. The sap is made into maple syrup. Trees for the holidays. Some farms grow trees for special events. Christmas tree farms grow pine trees for Christmas. It takes about 10 years for a Christmas tree to grow to the right size. Then a worker cuts down or digs it up so it can be sold. To start an orchard, it starts with a sapling. Farmers plant the sapling in rows. Then they take care of them as they grow into adult trees. It may take several years for an orchard to grow a fruit or a nut. Orchards are fun. Have you ever visited an orchard? Some let you pick your own fruit. Some grow other things, such as grapes and berries. You might visit a Christmas tree orchard in the winter. You might visit an orange orchard in the summer. The end. We're glad we got to come to the apple orchard to read our orchard story. Stay tuned after our break and we'll read another story.
My name is Natalie Moser. I'm a volunteer at K9 Stray Rescue, and this playful guy is Yeehaw. Yeehaw is about 2 years old. He's some sort of mixed breed. He's about 37 pounds. Yeehaw is an active and silly, goofy guy. He is just a ton of fun, loves to play outside. We have a ball that has a little bell in it, and he absolutely loves to play with that. Yeehaw would do best in an active, adult-only home. He has been showing some signs of resource guarding. So we've been working on him with that, and he's done great with his training. Resource guarding is when they take possession of something, and they can get snarly with you if you try to take it away. So he would also benefit from an experienced doctor who's willing to work on what we've trained him to do, which is trading up for high value items, and continue that work at home. He's also fairly mouthy, so redirection, someone who understands how to redirect his mouthiness to toys would be fantastic as well. Yeehaw is incredibly food motivated. He loves all food and will work for you for whatever you have. He seems to enjoy walks, but you have to kind of coerce him to go on longer walks. He loves being outside. Just bring lots of water. He does drink a lot. Yeehaw is good with other dogs, but he can be a bit much. He has an all-in play style. Another dog who is playful but can handle his rambunctious play style would be best if you'd like to introduce him. Yeehaw tends to get nervous in new situations, so you'll just need to be patient with him. He squats down and kind of plants himself on the ground when he gets a little nervous. We're using an easy walk harness with him to prevent him from backing out or to keep motivating him. Food is a great motivator on walks. I think he would at some point enjoy long hikes. He just has to gain that confidence to be able to explore new surroundings. If you're interested in adopting Yeehaw or any of our other adoptable dogs, go to caninestray.com or come by during our open business hours.
It's time for our very last book today, and it is Applesauce Season. And this book is by Eden Ross Lipson. Applesauce, yum! Applesauce season starts just about the time school opens, when it's still hot and summery, but vacation is over. One day, Grandma says, it's time for applesauce. We live in the city. There are no apple trees, but there's farmers markets where there's lots of apples. Sometimes my grandmother goes to the market. Sometimes my mom and dad go. Sometimes my big sisters. And if I don't have soccer, I go too. I love apple names. And our markets, first comes Ida Red and Paula Red, 20 ounce and Macintosh, Ginger Gold and Jonna Gold. Later, there's Baldwin, Northern Spry, and King David. And after that comes Winesap and Black Twig and Mutsu's Mother. There are lots of other apples. But we buy 6 pounds of apples for our sauce because that's just how much our sauce pot holds. And we buy many more for what Grandma calls eating out of hand. When we get home, the sauce apples are dumped in the kitchen sink and washed. I stand on the stepladder right next to the counter where the grown-ups chop the apples and choose which ones to cut up first. Sometimes I put in the little ones and sometimes the big ones. Sometimes the dark red or the yellow ones. My grandmother says there has to be at least 3 kinds in each pot of sauce for real flavor, but sometimes we use more. One of this, one of that too. And that's why our applesauce is different each week. One of a kind apple disappears and it takes its place for another kind. Mom cuts them into quarters. Grandma cuts them into 6. I don't know why. The apples go into the pot, skin, seeds, and all. When it's still summer and there's no cider yet, we add a glass of water or juice so the apples won't burn when they cook. But later we add fresh cider. It doesn't take that long for the apples to be soft and bubbly and start to smell good. The first time we make the sauce, we make fresh cinnamon sugar. I put the cinnamon into a pretty jar and I add some sugar. I put the lid on tight and I shake it and shake it and shake it until it's pale brown. When the apples are all soft, a grown-up turns off the stove and opens the pot to let the mush cool a little bit. And I go to get the food mill. We put the hooks on the bottom of the mill on top of a big bowl. and carefully put in the warm, cooked apples into it. We grind and we scrape and grind and scrape till all the apples have gone into the bowl below. All that's left in the mill is a small clump of cooked skins, cores, and seeds. Then I put some of the cinnamon and sugar into the apples. Not much, just a little. Mom puts a little slice of butter about the size of the tip of her pinky finger, and Grandma adds a tiny bit of salt. We taste it till it tastes just right, and then it cools some more and thickens. Then it's ready. Daddy doesn't make applesauce. He makes good things to go with it, like potato pancakes. On special mornings, fancy thin pancakes called crepes. He puts it with roasts, and if there's any left at the end of the week, he uses it in a cake that's very good for snacking. We celebrate the first sauce of the season. My big sisters and the grown-ups, sometimes the neighbors too, all sit at the table. We wait until everyone is served. I get a special cup, and I make a good wish for the rest of the season. We eat applesauce plain or with ice cream, cottage cheese, gingerbread, cookies, or sliced bananas. The color and the thickness and taste of the sauce changes every single week. Sometimes it's pink and very sweet. Sometimes it's pale brown and a little dry, so we add more cider. Later towards Thanksgiving, it's usually yellow, but it's always delicious. By December, there are no more new kinds of apples, so we stop making sauce and we just eat them. There are other things to do with apples. My grandpa doesn't like birthday cake, so he always has apple pie. We remember his birthday by having a slice of pie with ice cream and a candle on top. Grandpa always saved a piece of that pie for his breakfast to eat with sharp yellow cheese. Daddy sometimes has that too. Apple pie is good, but I still like sauce best. Maybe I'll change my mind when I grow up. Maybe not. The end. Thank you for joining us at Ashton's Orchards to talk about yummy applesauce, apple pie, and apples. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.